have enough forward. Go ahead. Yeah.
Afternoon, fans from around the world. It's complete football, and it's me, Afolabi, Mustafa, Warifa, and Boy Sean. Today, we're going to be talking about Spain
No,
and their
not boy
prospect.
Sean. Innocent.
Innocent, sorry.
Don't
I
tell
beg
me
your
you.
pardon.
I follow me. Don't tell me you've been drinking Gouda
Innocent, I
early
beg
and
your
you've
pardon.
forgotten.
So, we're going
Maybe
to talk
maybe like
about
like I
Spain.
won't say any names. Somebody whose name starts with a K.
Yeah, I know. So, we're going to be talking about Spain and their prospects in next week's Euro that starts on Friday. So, Mustafa, what are your early thoughts?
Okay, so very quickly, I think Spain has a lot of young guys. They have a very good midfielder. What's his name? Because I know you would know Innocent, the
Pedri.
central defender for Spain.
Okay,
Kubesa. Kubesa.
Rodrigo.
No, Kubesa, central defender.
Central defender Rodrigo of Man City.
But there's another one. Don't they have the other guy, the young guy, Kubeza? Is he playing for
Oh
them?
no, Kubasi has been left out.
Oh no, yeah, well, he's still young. But let's just start by talking about him. Don't you think he's one of the most brilliant central defenders you've ever seen? But he's very young. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's very good, and he has shown time and time again this past season that he can compete at a very tough stage, even at his
Okay.
age.
Okay. So sorry, because we're going off track because I thought he was on the team because some of these lists are not current. But let's talk
No,
about Lamine. Lamine is midfielder.
that was a provision.
Yeah, provisional. So what about Lamine? He's in the midfield, right? Yeah.
Yes, he's in the attack he will be coming from the right hand side as he usually does in basketball.
Talk about him very quickly before we go to Afolabi to talk about the whole squad. Yeah, yeah. Because he's your boy. He plays for your team, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Yeah.
Just like Odega is for Arsenal. So he's the face of our team. Like, I think, yeah, he needs to be there in this Euro so he can showcase what he can do. I know he has been playing very maturely well, and throughout last season we didn't do very much, but he was the person that took our team at his back and said, see, this age won't stop me from doing this, and he showed up a lot of times. So I think he'll be having a great and fantastic tournament in Germany.
Yeah. I think so. So very quickly, Afolabi, I think Spain's team might be a little bit too young for now. I think Pedri is a good midfielder, and I think Innocent would agree. But I think Pedri he's a central midfielder, but I'm worried about his stability and his physicality. He might be a little bit weak. Before we go to Afolabi, what do you think, Innocent? Yeah.
I don't personally, for me, I don't think football is being played by physicality, because Mesut Ozil never had that physicality. Di Maria, all these guys are players that has the mental ability to destroy players when it comes to one-on-one. And in the likes of Pedro, one of his qualities is passes. You know, so he doesn't need to come shoulder to shoulder to you. Once you give him the ball, he has.
Okay, I'll agree with you. But what about his endurance, though? And
I think the only thing there is endurance. He's not a player that can give you full 90 minutes, or probably when the game goes into extra time and he might want to play the 120 minutes. He's not a player, but I think when he has the opportunity to be on the field, he has to be very productive.
Yeah, and I also think that Rodri is basically the heart of that midfield. They have a decent midfield. Thank you, Innocent. I'm going to go to Afabi. Can you mention to us who you think are going to be the starting defenders, the two central defenders, and the left and right defender for Barcelona? What do you think they're going to put forward? Yeah. I think Carvajal will be there, right?
I think Dani Carvajal will play from right full back, and the central defenders will be Aymeric Laporte, that was in Man City before. He has gone to Al Nassr now.
Al Nassr, yeah.
Yes, and Nacho of Real Madrid. And then between Grimaldo and Cucurella of Chelsea, one of them will play left full back. So that's
okay. So quickly, Afolabi, I think in football it's very hard to have a solid back four. I don't think they have a superstar back four, but I think they have a competent back four, and I'll give them a B plus out of A. You know, A is perfect. I give them a B plus. What would you give them for defense? I think their defense is solid. Yeah.
Their defense is solid, but if you look at the other big teams, they have more options, really. Apart from the four people,
so they don't have depth. They don't have depth.
They don't have an injury to one of their key defenders might result in.
What about Grimaldo? for Bayern
Ronaldo is okay. He plays
Leverkusen.
for Bayer Leverkusen. He's a very good player. Yeah, I don't think he has gone to any big tournament for Spain. And one thing is that most of
Yeah.
their players are young and relatively inexperienced.
So you're right. And I think that Spain has, like Lamine, we all know Lamine is going to be one of the best in a couple of years. He's only 16. And also the other guy, what's the name of the other guy? I keep messing up his name.
Pedri. Is it Pedri?
No, the central defender who didn't make it.
Kubasi.
Okay.
Yeah, Kubasi is a future. To me, he's the most talented central defender I've seen in a long time. He's very flexible. He can do splits. He reminds me of Baresi and those guys from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about, Afolabi? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I do.
But he's still young and he's not on the team. But my thing is that it looks like Spain has too much youth and too much inexperience and not enough depth. Also, Pedri is very good, but I'm worried about Pedri's endurance. Like you said, I don't think Pedri can play 90 minutes, and he's also had injury issues. What do you think of Falabi?
I agree with you. He's not a very durable player, and he tends to sustain injury at key aspects of the season. Barcelona can tell you that he's one of their best passers of the ball from midfield, but he keeps getting.
But I think Rodri.
The season. So Rodri is by far the standout player and the most popular. Of the
he's a standout. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Rodri? Warif, I have to think for a second. I've been drinking wine today. I'm celebrating France because we're gonna win. We're gonna win. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on Rodri? On Rodri and on Spain's engine? Because I know, Warif, you're all about. Because one thing you say is that football is dependent on the midfield, and the midfield has to be an engine.
Yeah.
So talk about Rodri and what you think their midfield can do for Spain. Yeah.
If we check the what's it called, the Spanish midfield, you have Rodri of Man City, and I believe they have other experienced midfielders also. So Rodri can be the coordinator in that midfield.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget Ruiz. Ruiz from PSG. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And also, if you check the teams, we have like Marco from Atletico Madrid. Also, that they are from, like you said, from PSG. These are players that they are used to.
I think he's kind of like Fabi. I think he's paused, right?
Breaking, yeah.
Yeah, you can continue from what he was saying, Falabi. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically,
I think Ruiz is very important.
The linchpin and by far the most influential player in that team is Rodri.
Rodri, yes.
So, and a lot of the young players will look forward to him for leadership and direction because it's a very, very young team, an inexperienced team. And another thing I dare say is that Spain is, they play in a certain kind of way that Barcelona plays. They like possession football. And when the chips are down and you need to vary your tactics, they're usually not doing that. They're very stubborn. They believe in their system. So that might be one of their
they're
not flexible.
They're inflexible.
Yes, they're inflexible.
Unlike Papa Ancelotti's Real Madrid team, yeah.
So
or like maybe even a team like England.
Yes, or even a team like England.
Or even France.
Or even France. So, and another area of concern to me is their attack. You look at all those forwards. I look at their numbers this season. It's really very poor. Where are the goals going to come from? So that's one.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Do they even have? They don't have a central forward, a number 9, a pure number 9, do they?
They don't. Apart from Joselu, who sits on Real Madrid's bench and comes off the bench.
So I think what we're gonna see with Spain is low-scoring games. Spain is not going to give up a lot of goals, but they're not going to score. What are your thoughts, Innocent? Yeah. Thank you, Afolabi, for your insights. Yeah.
I think I'll be sticking on Spain for goals because the arrival of Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal from the both flanks is going to cause a lot of terrorists for defenders. They are going to be a nightmare for defenders. And the likes of Morata and Joselu of Real Madrid, I think Joselu can come in for the goals. But I don't think he will be starting over Alvaro Morata. But I think if they are wingers, if the young wingers in terms of Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, if they are good enough, if they are going to show what they are made of in that tournament, I think Spain will have a lot of goals.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the only problem is, like, let's look at, like France. They've got Dembele and even they call this guy a central forward. Now, all of a sudden, Mbappe is a central forward. But those guys are able to shoot even though they break you down on the wing. Do you think Lamine has enough skill to score coming from the wing if they don't have a central forward, or is he able to pass the ball and put it in proper placings so that somebody in the center can score no matter what, even if they're not a good finisher, but he gives them a good pace. So what I'm trying to say, I think Lamine has not fully developed as a player. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's at that stage of his footballing career where he's not selfish yet, like where he doesn't have that instinct of like I can do this. Like he tends to like find the older teammate and try to please them and lay up the ball and not to be selfish.
Yeah,
But
which will be good. If they have enough space, then somebody can get open, but they have to have enough space, which means they're going to have counter play, and I think that's going to be up to Rodri. What do you think? Yeah, Rodri's going to have to sit back
yes,
and play like Cruz.
I don't think Spain would give would likely give any opponent to push them to their own 18 before they will counter play, because they'll always hold the ball. They'll push you backward. They'll push you back to your own 18 and try to break your defense from there with those killer passes that we'll be expecting for the likes of Pedri.
So that can help. Yeah, but what I think is I think Spain can make it to the quarterfinals. I'm not sure if they can make it past. How far do you think they can make it? Yeah.
In terms of country football and especially Euros, there's always surprises, and I don't know. I don't really think they might go, but if they seem to get to the quarterfinals, then I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think that's as far as they can go. But I will say that one advantage they have, kind of like the German league, is that a lot of their players are from Barcelona and Sociedad, so they know each other. Unlike, I think, for example, a team like England has a lot more talent than Spain, but is very disorganized. So, Warif, any thoughts on Spain? Because we're talking about guys like Lamine are very young and they don't really have a super central forward. But Innocent was saying that with the way those guys play, like Lamine, he's not selfish. So if there's a lot of space, he can find somebody in the center. But if there's not a lot of space, he doesn't have the skill to do that for passing. But I think because he's not selfish, he's going to play on the wing, sort of like Doku, and pass the ball. What do you think, Warif? Yeah.
The Spanish players, what I like about them is that they are energetic. They're almost like the Portuguese players, and also they are young. But you cannot tell about other countries. And again, one advantage Spain has is that most of them they play in Spanish league, and they are used to themselves, so they know their weaknesses and their strength. So with that might give them an advantage. But for winning the trophy, I don't see them winning the trophy. I see Portugal.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready. Yeah. But I will say that they have a very good defense. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about their forward. Talk more about their forward line. How do you think they're going to set it up? Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to put in the most experienced players, and I think Yamal will start on the right, and Jose Lu
Nico Williams
or Alvaro Morata, Nico Williams.
What about Danny
Nico
Olmo?
Williams.
Yeah.
No, I think he will start on the bench. But Lamine.
Okay, Olmo will be in the bench, yeah.
Yes, Lamine, Nico Williams, and Alvaro Morata. Those are the three because they usually play 4-3-3. Those are the three I think will start in the attack.
So
Alvaro Morata, Lamine, and Nico Williams.
Yeah. So it's not a high-powered offense, but they have a good enough defense in which I think if they can score one goal, they can stay alive. So I think Spain is a very possession-based team that holds the ball, and it's a low-scoring game. What do you think, Afolabi? Yeah.
I agree with you, but the problem with the way Spain play, they play a very high defensive line, and usually they're a couple of yards into the opposition area. When they lose the ball, my problem I have with them is when they lose the ball, they might have the opponent might find gaps in behind their defense.
For example, a team like France will exploit their high line because France. Yes, a team like France, which has Dembele, they have Griezmann. And you know what's funny? They call Griezmann a central forward. They call Mbappe a central forward. They call Dembele left. But all of those guys are wingish. That's my new word. They're wingish type of players. And I think if they meet a team like France, they can exploit it. They'll do better against teams like England and Germany, maybe. What do you think, Afolabi?
Yeah. Yes, and if you look at the way they played in Qatar, in the Qatar World Cup, they kept playing this possession game, and at the end of the day, there was no possession without penetration. A lot of teams.
Yeah, and that's another problem where you hold the ball for 70%, but you have no shots on goal.
You have no shots
and
on goal.
You meet another team that can.
I think.
So what were you going to say, Wari? Who?
A lot of teams found them out, and eventually they didn't go find that tournament. So they need a second plan. They need a plan B.
I think we go back. I think the key to their team is.
I think I know what that plan B. I think I know what that plan B might be, because they have. If you look at their wingers, they are wingish forward, according to Mustafa. If you look at their wingish forward, they have. I'm
gonna put a patent on that so they can pay me for that. Wingish.
Wingish forward. They have this. They have Ferran Torres and they have Dani Olmo. This Dani Olmo and Ferran Torres, they are like similar kind of player, unlike Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal are electrifying forwards. Those kind of like Dembele and Mbappe kind of player that can exploit space.
And very quickly to what you were saying.
But the likes of Ferran Torres and Dani Olmo are the kind of players that create space for their opponent, like for their teammates. You know, they are good.
It's complementary. It's complementary. Yeah. And so going back to, sorry to interrupt you, but going back to what you said, Lamine is electrifying like Dembele or like Doku, but he knows when to pass the ball. He won't try to continue dribbling like Sterling, Raheem Sterling.
He has those kind of players. Like he can create something.
They hold on to the ball too long. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he has those kind of tricks that Neymar has. Like he can just dribble you out of nowhere, and he's good in one-on-one. So I think when Spain, the coach might start Dani Olmo and Ferran Torres in trying to make those passes. But when they think it's not working, I think they'll bring in Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, and also maybe I'm wrong, but do you agree with me that they should drop Pedri far back, kind of like Cruz, and just let him put passes, put Cruz in almost a defensive position to make those long slanting passes to Yamin, and they need to create space on the field. Yeah,
I think Pedri works better when he's close to when he plays behind the attacker. They already have Rodri.
Okay, so you think he needs to be supporting?
They already have Rodri.
Yeah, but I think he may not have the energy right now because I agree with you, but the problem is that his endurance and his stability right now is kind of, but I think I actually agree with you. So that would be Rodri's job.
Yes, with Zubimendi. They have Zubimendi of Real Sociedad. He's good at that.
We forgot about Mendy. Yeah, Mendy, we forgot about him. Okay, guys, so we're going to move on. We're going to go to France, but before we go to France, Warif, any last thoughts about Spain's team and what you think is interesting or could be some keys to their success? Yeah.
Everything, the players, they are good. Most of them, they are first team players in their club side. So everything boils down to the coach, the way he features them in the.
As long as he's not Southgate. As long as he's not Southgate.
Everything boils down to the coach, the way he makes his selection and his tactics. So that's just it.
Yes. So now we're going to switch. We're going to start off with